Hello and welcome to another Royal Reviewer live weekly chat. And what an amazing royal week it's been again. Yet another voluptuous royal week. So if you're new to the chat, the format is really simple. Just say hello. If you've got a question or a comment about any current royal news, any royal history, anything royal related, please just type the question or the comment in the box that you can see. Now, without further ado, I'm going to open the chat window, which I think I've managed to open before I got here. So I can jump straight into the chat, hopefully. Yes, I can see Steve. So hello to Steve. Hello to Van Al Girl, otherwise known as Candice. She says, how am I doing? I'm absolutely great. It's been very busy. Another really busy week. Ross Reed Chaplet says hi. Nina says hello. Linda says hello. And Jamie's finally made it, who says hello. Slightly Stacked says hello to everyone. Kimberly is here and she says hello. So I can see you all. I hope you can see me and hear me clearly. Candy says you look as cute as the bee's knees today. Thank you very much. I do like that phrase, the bee's knees. But you really don't want to see my knees. They are British English legs. And in fact, I was having this conversation with someone else in my real life earlier in the week about legs and should legs be got out in the summer. And if you're British and the weather obviously not very good most of the time, most British men's legs are pale and pasty. Should they be got out? I mean, even just the slightest hint of sunshine and you see men with pale pasty legs parading their legs around the streets, and I just think no. So my opinion is no. If you're British and you're male, your legs should be covered completely. Have some decorum and cover your legs. What do you think? Let me know. Do you wear shorts? And what is it with flip-flops? Flip-flops when it's cold and wet. And even in the winter, people wear flip-flops. Not good. Okay, so back to the chat. Ren says, hi, Elliot and everyone. Hope you are doing well. Betsy is in New York City. And Jamie says, why so many flags? Well, I had a bit of an explosion of flags. Last week, I had the Royal Standard behind me. But I also couldn't resist a Union Jack and some Union Jack flags as well. And I thought I would buy in advance. So if ever there's an occasion where, you know, I need to be patriotic or I want a different backdrop, I can just use these. But I was impatient to wait for an occasion, so I decided to use them today too. Steve says, I'm never out of shorts. Are your legs pale and pasty? Jamie says, I've seen lots of flip-flops lately. Hopefully not Crocs. I have a big aversion to Crocs too. And what is it with fleecy Crocs? They're especially no. Dawn says, yay, I got a video. Hi, hello to Dawn and welcome to chat. Rosary says, love your outfit today. Thank you very much. It's my blue crinkle shirt. And if you've noticed, it is actually a bit crinkly. It's supposed to be crinkly. It's a bit seersucker, if you know what seersucker is. And of course, I'm wearing Queen Victoria's double bow brooch with a massive central diamond. Of course, mine's real. They are all real diamonds. And of course, my braces. So you may see me adjusting them because they do have a tendency to slip. So let's hope they don't slip and slide too much. Greg says hello from San Francisco. Hello to you, Greg C. Ren says those are the only legs they can offer in Britain where it rains. So yes, pale and pasty, they should be covered at all times. Freya says hello from Bath. And Rosary says thank you for mentioning me. Of course, I mention everybody who comments. MSMB 2012 says hi, Elliot, and hello everyone from California. Rosary says, love the brooch. And Van Al says, Crocs are a fashion no-no. I agree. They should, can we have a mass Croc binning or burning? Burn your Crocs. I don't like them. Sarah says, so excited to make it to live chat my first time. Well, welcome if it is your first time, wherever you are. Please feel at home, ask questions, talk to the other people that you can see on the chat page. And don't forget, if you do miss any or you have to leave early, this chat goes live immediately after this live chat session is finished. So it goes straight onto YouTube. I don't even have to do anything. It just uploads straight away. So you can always watch on catch up if you miss it in future. Jamie says, all real diamonds mined from the Argos catalogue. It's better than Argos, darling. It's the official Buckingham Palace shop. And of course, Her Majesty herself hand-picked it from the shelf, placed it in the box, and posted it off to me. HW says, Elliot, love the video and the brooch you were wearing in the wedding dress video about Meghan Markle. Tell us about that fabulous brooch. Okay, so I made a video and I put it on about an hour ago, and it was about the Meghan Markle, Prince Harry rumours that erupted today about an engagement. Meghan Markle was spotted trying on wedding dresses, and everyone was like, oh my goodness, she's getting married, Prince Harry's proposed. And it's like, no. The truth, which of course my videos always tell, are that she was actually trying on wedding dresses for Suits, which is the American TV drama that she currently features in. So she was trying on wedding dresses for Suits. So I made a video kind of, you know, trying to calm people down a little bit. You know, let's lay off a little bit. Yes, I do think they will be engaged at some point, but it hasn't happened yet. That was not her wedding dress. So we have to err on the side of caution, which is why I didn't make a video announcing that they'd been engaged. I sort of held off and then found out the truth and of course told you. So the wedding dress she tried on was for Suits, not for her. I do think, however, that they may be engaged around about September, October, with a possible wedding in April. I mean, that's just my own personal thoughts. But it does follow the pattern set by William and Catherine. I do think Prince Harry, you know, he can't afford to wait a really, really long time. He wants to get settled fairly quick. So that's what I think. The brooch I was wearing in the video was the Queen Elizabeth star brooch. And it's in the formation of a star. And that is another one of my royal replicas. Now, let me see. I think I've missed a few questions whilst I've been answering that question. Okay, let me see. Steve says, apparently fashion this year is flip-flops with socks. Well, let's not even go there. Ralph says, how does the Queen feel about the illegal occupation of Northern Ireland? Well, of course, the Queen has visited Northern Ireland, and I can't speculate that it is an illegal occupation. I mean, of course, that's a matter for the politicians to debate and sort out between themselves. The Queen, as head of state of Northern Ireland, takes that role incredibly seriously, as she takes being the head of state of all of her realms, and of course the United Kingdom, including Northern Ireland. And I think she's happy as long as the people are happy to have her. She has said before that if asked to go, if the people wanted her to go, that she would go quietly. Of course, that hasn't happened yet, and I think that is the current position at the moment. Karen Dixon says, shorts are for little schoolboys' uniforms, hopefully only in warmer weather. Exactly, and we don't get the weather in Britain. And as soon as we do, pale, pasty legs appear, and I don't like it. Kimberly says, mass ban on Crocs. I totally support that. Rosary rather says, I do not like Crocs. Mine are rich older cousins to Crocs. Jamie says, Steve, I can't bear people with flip-flops and socks. I've seen so many kids wearing them. It's a humanitarian disgrace. That is one way to look at it. And Jamie says, Crocs are very practical. They look good on kids, but not on adults. The only exception I would possibly make for a pair of Crocs is perhaps at the beach, or maybe even at a stretch by the pool. But nowhere else, please. David Penner says, hi from Chicago. And Lisa Young is from Wisconsin, and she says, hello. Van Gill says flip-flops with socks. No way. And Jamie said, oh, hang on, I've just scrolled down too far. Let me go back up. Jamie says, did you ever get that pizza, Dawn? Of course, Jamie is referring to the online chat we have going for all Royal Reviewer fans, including myself, and that is on Twitter. So if you find my Twitter page, Royal Reviewer on Twitter, I can add you to that conversation. So if you want to go into a special conversation with myself and other Royal Reviewers, please follow me on Twitter, and then I can add you to the conversation. Karen says, Meghan needs to do a dress on the order of her real mother-in-law, Diana. Do you mean the big poofy princess fairy tale wedding type dress? I mean, she would suit that, but I don't think it's particularly fashionable at the moment. I mean, lace seems to be quite in at the moment. Will she go for lace? Will she go for something sleek? I don't know what she'll go for. Anastasia S says, hello, Elliot from Russia. Love your channel so much. Hello to everyone in Russia who loves monarchy and loves the royal family. Hello to you. MSMB 2012 says, amen, Karen. Freya says, as opposed to her imaginary mother-in-law. Well, yes, that is true. Jamie says, I've seen them all her on a holiday, and they have they have socks fueled up as well. Not good, socks and sandals. Betsy says, that dress. What did you think about it? Dawn says, no Jamie, no pizza this week. And Deborah says, love your videos this week, especially the ones you comment on, that I do commentary on. And of course, those of you who have been following the channel for a year or so know that in the early days, all of my videos were commentary. From the start to the finish, they were narrated all the way through. The problem with that was it's incredibly time consuming. I have to research, write the article, sync the article to the pictures, record it, upload it, and I was finding that I was kind of missing lots of stories because it takes so long. And those of you who know me know I have a full-time job as well, so I don't just do this as my job. You know, my job is working with special needs children. So the time I kind of cut it back a little bit, and I was able to increase my output and cover way more royal stories, but that was, I'm afraid, at the expense of the commentary. So I'm trying to do more commentary. I've got 6 weeks off in the summer, so hopefully I'll be able to reinstate some decent commentary videos. It's not because I don't want to, I really do, it's just time. And there has been so much over the past 3 months. I mean, every week I've come to you and said, what a voluptuous royal week it's been, because it really has. There's been so much going on. Just this week, there's been the Queen at Holyrood week, Princess Anne, Diana stories, Prince Harry stories, everything's gone on. So sometimes it's hard to keep up and you can't do it all. And that's something that, you know, I have to try and realise, I think. Betsy says the wedding dress that she tried on was a while ago for Suits. Dawn says, I need to see more updated pics of Meghan and Harry. I'm a bit worried. As far as I'm aware, she's actually in the UK, I think. I didn't hear of her going back. And if those photos, as you say, were older ones, then she still could be in the UK. And I will say that rather tentatively. Steve says, if Harry wants children, the time is ticking, and Meghan's 35. Which is why I think that if they are going to get engaged, it will be September, October, ready for April, May. That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick with it until they prove me otherwise. MSMB says, Camilla is Catherine's father-in-law's wife. She's not Catherine's mother-in-law. That is true. Vanel says, April seems to be the month for royal weddings. I agree, which is why I think April/May. Freya says, Janet Jackson has just had a baby at 50. The biological clock is no longer an issue. Who knows what kind of help Janet Jackson has had on that score. And I'm sure, you know, most people probably don't want to wait until they're 50. Nina Shub says Harry's keeping her to himself. They do like to keep low key, which is another reason why I didn't believe that that was her wedding dress when I first saw the photos come through. Rosary says they earn women, they like women to have their first baby before 36. Otherwise, there's a higher chance of birth defects. I mean, everyone's biological clock, I suppose, is different, and it varies for everyone. But you know, maybe the optimum age medically is before 36. David says, Elliot, I was watching a video that both Princesses Eugenie and Beatrice have health problems. Specifically, Eugenie has metal rods. How did this come about? Beatrice is dyslexic. Yes, there is dyslexia in the family, which she's managed to overcome, and she carried on with education, but she's found it hard, and she's found it quite a struggle, and she's spoken rather openly about her dyslexia. The metal rods, I think it was Eugenie who had the metal rods. She had scoliosis, which is curvature of the spine. I don't think it was a major curve. It wasn't anything that you'd really spot, but she did have the curvature corrected, I do believe. So yes, two different, very different health concerns and problems, which they've managed to overcome. Dawn says, I have never seen young raw boys in anything but shorts. Why is that? It goes back way back to the days of when boys were breeched. So they wore shorts or breeches up until a certain age when they were breeched, and that's why they're called breeching shorts. And then they went into trousers round about the age 7, I think. The age is about 7. So if you look at William and Harry, they were wearing shorts, or if you want to go back to the old-fashioned breeches, up until they were about 7, when they progressed to long trousers. And that's how it goes. With the upper classes still tend to follow that tradition, and the royals. Freya says it's not necessary to have baby before 36. The birth defect theory was overstretched to begin with, and now modern science can aid a woman through gestation. Yes, I mean, it varies for everyone. Some people's clocks tick faster. Some women I know go through the menopause earlier than others. Janet Jackson may be very lucky and be perfectly fine to have children at 50. Other people, you know, may go through early menopause and medicine can't help. It varies. So who knows? But I do think, you know, in terms of Harry, he has expressed a wish that he would like to start a family soon. So that leads to me thinking that he will get things sorted fairly quickly. Lisa says, I have to wear Crocs when I'm at work because I work in a nursing home. Well, I just don't like Crocs. I mean, okay, so some people may have a reason for wearing them, but I don't like the way they look. Rosary says, Janet Jackson has all the medical abilities the average woman doesn't have. Money. She has money. Maria says, hello from Houston. Houghton or Houston? Jamie says, it's only lower class people who wear pants. Which pants are you talking about, Jamie? Of course, let's not forget pants in America is trousers. Pants in the UK is underwear. Rosary said, Lisa, my sister wore Crocs and mules at hospital when they first came out. I'm just scrolling down. Annie 518 says, hello from Los Angeles. It's your first time here. Well, hello to you and welcome to our chat. A very select chat that seems to be growing week on week, which is amazing. Jamie says, pants for children is a working class tradition. Rosary says, far cry from the standard ugly yet professional rubber-heeled shoes for female nurses. Betsy says, no, not a good look. She should pick her own special look. And Freya says, a woman's baby can easily be monitored by any OB, obstetrician or gynecologist. So Meghan is in no rush. There you go. I had to paraphrase them because you used abbreviations. I think I did quite well. Jamie says, MSNB, what's your first name? H.A. Bracken says, haven't seen too many videos with appearances by William. Is he making appearances or visits anywhere? He has been fairly low-key of late. I put that down to him perhaps spending time working as an air ambulance rescue pilot before he gives it up. Let's not forget, he's giving it up during the summer. And then he will be going into full-time role duties from September. So I presume he's taking advantage of the last few weeks and spending time on his career, which I'm sure would be quite hard to give up. But he needs to support the Queen. Candice says, it's been a really busy royal week. It has. I can concur on that one. I especially loved your video on Prince Harry in Leeds. He warms my heart. Yes, he made a really emotional, he had an emotional day in Leeds. He visited 3 different engagements, which I've made a video on. And one of them was to a hospital, one was to a well-child garden, where they'd redone a garden to make it accessible for a severely ill child. And he does do very important work, and if you want to see the photos, do check that video out. Ralph says, why do the Windsors, let me go down. Why do the Windsors insist on, oh hang on, I've skipped that question, where is it? Let me go back up, I'll start again. Why do the Windsors insist on illegally occupying Northern Ireland? But I think I answered the question similar to that a little bit earlier on. And of course, the Windsors as a family don't occupy illegally or legally any country. As a family, the Queen is the head of state, and the Queen is the only one of the family that actually has a formal laid out role. All of the others just support the Queen. Even Prince Charles, the Prince of Wales, doesn't have any formal obligation or a formal role to conduct royal business. He could actually take the money from the Duchy of Cornwall and just live off that and not do a day's work in his life. He doesn't have to support anybody, but he does, obviously, because he wants to support the crown and support the monarchy and support his mother. But the only one who has an official role is the head of state, which is the monarch, which is the Queen, which is Queen Elizabeth. So I'm afraid there is no illegal occupying by the Windsors of anywhere. Nina says, I love the video about the train. Very nice. Yes, that was my on-location video. Now, I do make one apology for that video, and that is that I couldn't make it quite how I wanted. I wanted there to be more sort of live vlogging. And of course, on the train, I wasn't able to do that. I could only take photos. So that's why it sort of went live and then switched to photos with a voiceover and then went back to some live footage. So I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless, and hopefully when I go out on location in future, I'll be able to film the whole thing as a proper vlog. But that's a taste of kind of what my videos will be like when I go out on location in the future. So I really hope that you enjoyed that video and that style. Okay, Jamie says, when is the new documentary out? Do you mean the one about Princess Diana? It was advertised. I'm not quite sure of the date, but it must be soon because it's advertised. When I find out, I will let you know. And yes, there is a new documentary out about Princess Diana where William and Harry speak candidly and openly. They open up about her as a mother, what she meant to them, what she still means to them, and they go through photographs together and talk about them and relive memories. And in the trailer preview, which I've made a video on, Prince William says to Harry, "You're in the tummy. You were in that photo too." And it's a photo of Diana with William, and she's pregnant. So William was saying, you know, Harry, you're in that video too. You're in the tummy. So it seems like it's going to be quite an open and interesting documentary when it comes out. So as soon as I know, I will let you know. And please go and watch that video to find some exclusive information about the documentary. MSNB says, if they are already decided on getting married, they may have already had her eggs harvested just to be safe. Well, if we're going to the level of egg harvesting, I mean, I think usually people try to have children naturally first before they go down that route. But, you know, in the future, could be a possibility. She's 36. She may have already had them done. Who knows? I can neither confirm or deny. HW says, Elliot, I think Meghan Markle will choose the Paloma Blanco gown. It's dramatic, elegant, and fabulous. I'm not sure what she'll choose. I do think she'll have one specially made for her, though. Susan says, Elliot, how are you? One white woman come at my work asking me when I saw Prince Harry. When Prince Harry invited black people, you'll be going to every... Oh, right, I see what you're saying. A little bit of a language barrier there. Personally, race in terms of Meghan Markle and the Prince Harry relationship doesn't really play, well, hardly anything at all in the media of the UK. People just don't mind. People haven't got a problem with the fact that she has a mixed heritage. But it seems to be much more of a big issue overseas media, and people commenting about it. In the UK, it really isn't a problem. Nobody mentions anything. So I really think it's just a non-issue. Nina says, I saw Meghan in that dress a few months ago for Suits. Yes, so it suddenly made an appearance as a big story, and I wanted to shoot down those rumours. Rosary says, scoliosis, I have that too. I hope her back brace was nicer looking than mine. I am fully aware of scoliosis back braces. I don't have the condition myself, but I work with some students that do. So I know all about the back braces for scoliosis. And yes, they can be, you know, some of them are not the nicest looking things. Steve says, Eugenie has scoliosis, as does my daughter, and my daughter was operated on by the same surgeon. Wow, I didn't know that. So it must be an incredibly good surgeon. And of course, you know, she doesn't ever complain about her scoliosis. She doesn't make a big issue about it. So I can only presume the operation was a complete success. And she's, you know, as fine as her spine's ever going to be with metal rods and the corrective surgery. MSNB says, interesting, Steve. And Jamie says, so much people asking questions these days. I like questions. MSNB says, pants in the UK is underwear. It is. We say put your pants on, and we mean underwear. So when we hear Americans or anyone else wear pants as trousers, say about they're putting their pants on, we think of underwear and we laugh. Rosary says, pants brought a new meaning to Americans watching BBC Sherlock. Are you wearing any pants? Yes, because we mean underwear. Jamie says, I'm sitting in a Scottish pub right now with a Scottish lady with dementia smoking a cigarette, ranting about the airport. So I'm finding it hard to hear you. This is great. Say hello to her for me and for everyone else. Freya says, I was hoping Eugenie... Ooh, I just skipped a load of questions. Let me go back up. I've missed quite a few. My chat window changed. So I've only got a little tiny window, and sometimes it skips. Right, I found it. Freya says, I was hoping Eugenie would have been engaged by now, and we could have had a royal wedding. Well, I think Harry might get there first. Gail says, hi Elliot, from Virginia. First time I have caught you live. I am a nurse and hate Crocs also. They don't have any support. No, they don't. And they are terrible. Marajor says, too bad there's no photos on Diana's rededication. That was a completely private event, and I can understand why, so I'm not going to be too disheartened that there weren't. I would have liked to have seen some of people arriving and leaving, but of the actual ceremony, I was okay with the fact that there was no photographs. It was, of course, deeply personal and private. Jamie says, if we take Prince Harry as an example, I'd imagine royals wear neither underpants or trousers. Well, I mean, sometimes, if you look at the photographs, if you really want to go there, of Prince Harry, one does wonder sometimes if he is wearing underwear. And I will say no more than that. Dawn says, I would love to see one of the princesses get married too. Me too. Freya says, as someone from Northern Ireland, I don't very illegally occupied. What law would they be breaking? I agree. MSNB says, me too, Freya. I wonder what the hold-up is with Eugenie. I think possibly the fact that it was leaked early and she wants to do it in her own time. Daniel says, what do you consider to be the best biography of Her Majesty the Queen? There are so many. And of course, the best one will be the one of the biographer that gets to read all of her papers and all the information after she's gone. So actually, I'm going to hold out and say the best one is yet to come. Ralph says, Freya, it's the Treaty of Cork that was broken by the British. And I can't comment on that because I don't know too much about it. And SMB says, good question, Daniel. Emily Windsor-Cragg says, if the Queen allows NWO to proceed, there will no longer be a monarchy at all in Britain. I think there will never be a situation where the monarchy will be put at risk to that degree. Oh, by the way, my throat is slightly better now because last week I had a bit of a bad throat. Going back to your question, I don't think that, you know, it would ever come. I think there would be lots of diplomacy involved first before it got to that stage. So do I think that will ever happen? No. Of course, you know, I can't say for definite or for sure, but we will see as time goes on. Freya says, Ralph, there's no such thing as a Treaty of Cork. Again, I can't comment on that. I don't know too much about it. HW says, Elliot, I recently saw a report that 50% of Scots want to pull out of Great Britain. I have no idea so many Scottish people are in favour of pulling out of the Empire. Scotland had a vote a couple of years ago, and they voted to remain part of the UK. Recently, there's been renewed interest by the leading political party in Scotland, but that has now subsided because they didn't do too well trying to promote another vote, another referendum on independence at the last general election. So that has now been kind of sidelined, at least for now. So we'll see how things go. MSNB says, 2 dislikes on this video. Hit like, everybody. Yes, hit like, please do. And share and comment, of course. I'm not sure why I have 2 thumbs down. I need thumbs up. Jamie says, Elliot, the question about what would happen if the Queen died. Let's say at Windsor Castle, while Charles was there too, come up a few times in the past, and you've researched it. There is, as part of the Queen's London Bridge, which is the code name for basically when she dies, there are different protocols for wherever she might die. So if she dies in Balmoral, if she dies at Buckingham Palace, if she dies at Windsor, or any of her other homes, or any kind of ad hoc location, or even abroad, there is a plan for each individual thing. If she dies at Windsor Castle, she's likely to be laid out for a short period of time, and then taken up to London, ready for the funeral. And everything is timed. I mean, I can't remember off the top of my head the details exactly, but everything is timed precisely, and everything will just everything will just erupt into action. And there are timelines that will be kept to, and deadlines, and you know, her funeral will be X amount of days after she passes. Everything will just play out. And I would like to do, in fact, I'm not sure if I have done a video on that. I have to go back and check, because I did read about it, and I can't remember whether it was one that I put to my list to do about. But either way, I will hopefully do about that at one time. I know I have done a video on London Bridge before. Betsy says, please recommend best royal magazines. The best royal magazine is Royal Life magazine, and you can subscribe abroad. It's a magazine I've been subscribed to for a very long time. However, I've recently let my subscription lapse because they put the price up by a lot. And seeing as, you know, pretty much they cover the same kind of stories that I do, I felt like I wanted to make a little bit of a protest. So Royal Life is the best magazine, but I wanted to withhold my custom from them because I think they put the price up too much. And, you know, I wanted to make a little bit of a stand, so I have done. I'm not saying I'm not going to renew my subscription in the future, but if you do want a good Royal magazine, I am still perfectly happy to recommend it, and they do ship worldwide. So Google Royal Life magazine. I think it's the best one. Ralph said, oh, Ralph is being a little bit nasty to Freya, which is a bit uncalled for. We don't normally like anyone in our chat who is abusive. So I'm a little bit sad. H.A. Bracken says, too much trolling going on, goodbye. I'm really sorry to hear that, H.A. Bracken, and unfortunately I can't control the chat room, I don't think. Or maybe I can, hang on. Okay. All I can say is if there's someone whose comments you're not liking, I'm not sure if you're able to ignore them or block them. I don't know. If you just have a look, see if you can. Jamie says, Elliot, the question about what? Oh, hang on. I am reading this question again. Sorry, my chat window is so small. Sometimes I can't see if I read a question or not. Jamie says, Elliot, the question about what would happen if the Queen died, let's say at Windsor Castle while Charles was there too, came a few times in the past. I've already read that one. Oh, Dawn says, hope she gets into the documentary there. I'm sure it will play eventually pretty much everywhere. Sarah says, whenever I am watching videos about the royal family, there are always rude, nasty comments about Camilla. They always seem to say the same things about her. What's the reason behind this hurtful behaviour? Well, we have discussed this previously. There are several YouTube channels who I believe are run by the same people. The main one is called The Top Half. And it basically sprouts vile comments about the royal family and Camilla in particular daily, sometimes hourly. Completely made up nonsense, and people that comment in the videos, on my videos about her, say the same things that this channel is sprouting. So I can only believe that they have watched those videos and believed them when they're not true. It's fake news. So please unsubscribe from The Top Half or any other channel which uses the same kind of thumbnails that The Top Half does, which is often they use a circular window of repeated photographs of the same photograph. So if you see that, just avoid it. And please, if you're a member of The Top Half, unsubscribe, because all the news is fake. Jamie says, it turns out if the Queen dies in the same building as Charles, the Queen's royal standard will be lowered and the standard of the next highest member would be flown, i.e. the Prince of Wales standard. That ties in very much with if an aristocrat dies, say a duke, the heir to the dukedom doesn't formally take up the title until the funeral is over. So of course that is a mark of respect. Oh dear says, hi all, how is everyone today? I am late again. Summer does distract me from being on time. I will have to catching up later. That's okay, and welcome. Welcome to the chat. Oh dear, by the way, I do sometimes try to reply to your comments on my videos, but I'm unable to. I'm not sure if you have some kind of setting enabled, which means that people can't comment to you, but my throat has just gone. But whenever I do try to give you a thumbs up or a like on your comments or reply to one of your comments, it won't let me. So just know that I do sometimes try to reply to you, but I'm unable to. Jamie says, this happened upon the death of George VI when the Queen Mother standard was flown over the palace. Ralph says, don't ignore me, Freya. And Emily says, protecting the royal bloodline's genetic structure is a primary reason for its marriage doctrine. Okay, I'm just going to skip a few questions. Oh dear says, how did Queen Victoria's crown end up in private hands? The one that is the next. Yes, the one that the Queen Victoria's coronet. It's oh no, it's a diadem actually. It's got sapphires on and diamonds. Basically, it was bequeathed from Queen Victoria down the female line, which kind of filtered itself out of the royal family by inheritance. So basically, it's not part of the Queen Consort's jewellery collection. It's not part of the crown. So even though it was Queen Victoria's, by inheritance, it got inherited out of the kind of direct line. And then one of the descendants decided to auction it. And I know there was some kind of injunction put on it to try and prevent it, or at least delay the sale, and I've not heard anything since. So I'm still periodically searching for it, but nothing's come up. Jamie says, what on earth is happening to this chat? I'm wondering that myself too. Please ignore some of the silly behaviours. HW says, I'm not going to read that one. There's a few comments I think I need to skip. And let me scroll up to find some better comments. Okay. Kimberly says, no, I'm going to go down a bit more. Carrie says, I can't wait for the next online chat. This has had me in stitches. Which bit? Karen says, knickers are also underwear. Yes, knickers are also underwear in the UK. Emily says, you think the monarchy will persist? Yes, I do. Susan says, good night, Elliot. No more greetings to Prince Harry again. You can say hello to Prince Harry as much as you want. Deborah says, glad to hear you're better, although I did have a little bit of a coughing fit earlier. It's maybe not 100% better. Carrie says, the monarchy have such a vital role, they should persist. I would agree. And Freya says, why did Prince Philip and Elizabeth pick the name Charles? It's quite a throwback to the Stuart Kings, and the only one of the only royals to have it since was the notorious second Duke of Albany. And I just think they probably liked it. I mean, there is no real reason why, for example, William and Catherine chose George or Charlotte. They just liked the name. Kat says, hello everyone, I have been away for a bit, glad you made it, welcome back. Deborah says, I definitely like every video. And Kat hopes everyone is doing well, and thank you for liking my videos, I really do appreciate it. Carrie says, I can't hear any audio. Please refresh if you can't hear any audio. Carrie says, but me, I seem very enthusiastic. Thank you. I am. Please refresh if you can't hear or see anything. Dawn says, it would be interesting to see the timeline for London Bridge. I saw a very short spot about it within 10 minutes. Things are scheduled to happen. Yes, immediately the Queen dies, the plan will be put, the operation rather, will be put into operation. There is a strict sort of time frame that will be stuck to. HW says, Elliot, I'll say it again, I love your signature signing, signature opening and closing, especially your closing on your videos. Your closing from me in Shropshire Goodbye is wonderful. Thank you. I mean, I didn't even plan that when I first did it. I just spoke and it came out and it stuck. Kimberly says, the last Royal Life issue was $10 in the US, but well done. It's a really good magazine, but in the UK, it's become expensive. So I withheld my custom. Steve says, you can report inappropriate comments. I'm not sure I can kick anyone off. I don't know how. There you go. So I think you can report If you don't like someone's comments, you can report them. Jamie says, if you send him to the tower, he also disappears from the chat. Off to the tower. Freya says, looks like Ralph is gone now too. And Steve says, the Sun have this week been saying negative things about Camilla, such as she's against Meghan. Totally false. False, false, false. I mean, sometimes the Sun newspaper can be reliable, but on that instance, I don't think so. How would they know? Camilla is notorious for keeping stum. Oh dear says, I've tried to fix my reply issue, but I've not figured out the problem. Still trying. Well, as long as you know that sometimes I have tried to give you thumbs up and tried to respond to your comments. Emily says, Elliot, I'm related through Edward VIII. Wow, that's quite a claim to fame. Jamie says, he's taken the tube from Paddington to Traitors Gate. I have seen the real Traitors Gate. Carrie says, can I just say, oh dear, you seem to have chosen an appropriate avatar name. Smiley face and wink. Jamie says, Elliot, did you get a private tour of that train? Yes, kind of. It says, when you go to the train station, which is the Severn Valley Railway in Shropshire, it says that they only do tours when the staff is there, which means, you know, you'd think there would be staff there the whole time. But no, the guides, I think, sometimes are volunteers. So you have to be really looking to get a tour. And then pretty much it's locked, so you can just look on the outside. I just managed to catch the tail end of a previous tour. And then I said to the man, you know, please, can I have a tour? So I was allowed on, and I had a tour pretty much to myself. So so it was really good. So I kind of felt that I was lucky, that I was able to bring it to you. Otherwise, it would have been a video of photographs through a window. Betsy says, is Fergie back with Andrew? Have they ever been apart? I mean, not officially, but they're just doing their own thing. I think they will probably always just do their own thing. Freya says, the only twins in a British royal family are James II, King of Scots, and Alexander Stuart. So I think we are long overdue for more twins. Maybe Meghan and Harry, who knows? And yes, that would be amazing. I mean, royal twins would just send everyone into a frenzy. I mean, I don't know if twins feature on Meghan's side of the family. Maybe someone could do some research. Odia says, thoroughly enjoyed your coverage of Holyrood week, especially the pony trying to eat the Queen's bouquet, and the wonderful horse that are sculptures at the dedication of the canal. Yes, two very special moments. And, you know, I love that pony. I've seen that pony before. It's the ceremonial pony, which they often use for certain events. And the Queen did give the pony a bit of a scolding. She said, go away, or words to that effect. And the naughty pony munched her bouquet, which I'm sure afterwards she would have had terrible laughter at. And it most definitely would have been a talking point for her and the Duke later. Kimberly says, it's okay, Elliot, some behaviour is just not acceptable, especially when you give your time to all of your subscribers. Well, we have had some silly behaviour tonight. I don't know why. And I've tried to deal with it as best I can. I don't know how to block people from here, so I'll have to research that in case it happens again for future. Freya says, I know the Spencers have been historically left-wing. Do you know anything about the Middletons' political affiliation? No, I don't, but I would imagine they would probably be conservative because they have their own business. I mean, you know, the Conservatives are notorious for, you know, kind of being quite good for businesses. So I would imagine conservative. They're from the home counties as well. So I would say that's pretty much conservative territory. Carrie says, I missed the Holyrood week episodes. I shall have to watch them on catch up. Yes, there are, I think I did 5 episodes, and they cover each day by day. Hopefully, I think in the correct order as well. So please do check them. Betsy says, Elliot, you need to write a book on the royals. Years ago, probably 10, 12 years ago now, I did start to write a historical fiction. I know historical fictions are fairly popular at the moment, but my historical fiction was about James I. So that it covered the death of Elizabeth and went on to James I. Unfortunately, my computer played up and I lost probably about 120 pages of work. And I was that disheartened that I never rewrote it. And it's something I would like to pick up again. I think I'm kind of ready to pick up that mantle again and go with it. Of course, my historical fictions are, although it's fiction, very much fact. You know, I based my story on fact. It was fact, 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 but sort of padded out in a fictional story type way, but mostly fact, fact, fact. So I would like to take that up again. And Jamie's joking, rest in peace, Rowdy Ralph, 11:05 to 11:28 p.m. Nina says, I'd buy it. Carrie would help me to write it. And Emily says, it's an infamous claim to be sure. I would agree with that. Carrie says, and negative writes, I'm a boring. Oh, you're a media lawyer. Wow. We have a media lawyer in our midst. I'm sure a very rewarding job too. HW says, Elliot, I just want you to know that I always like your videos and I subscribed and hit the bell so I can receive messages that the live chat is starting and you love it. Thank you very much. I love those who share. Odia says, loved your tour of the vintage royal train carriage, very interesting. And it was an actual royal toilet. I actually saw a toilet that had a royal bottom on it. 2 royal bottoms, the King, George VI, and Prince Philip. And I was remarked about how small and kind of cramped it was, really. To think his bottom had been on that seat. HW says, ponies are very naughty and they teach you a lot as a child. They bite, kick, and do their best to throw you off. They are smarter than horses. I love them. That was a very cheeky pony. I loved it too. Jamie says, sorry, I haven't been an active royal reviewer, but I think there's an exception to these circumstances. Because you've been away. Jamie's been away. HW says, my pleasure, Carrie. I never missed a live chat. And Freya says, I've been casually seeing a man whose last name is Windsor. So naturally, I'm going to marry him. Carrie says, well said. Maybe you want to marry someone because of who they are rather than their name. HW says, Carrie, you need to promote Elliot Phillips to one of your media moguls. Elliot is a star in the making. Oh, thank you. Please do. I mean, we know that the palace has been made aware of my channel through Steve's letter, which I spoke about last week. So any help is good help, I will say. Carrie says, the fun of a name might last for 10 minutes, but the fun of who they are lasts a lot longer and hopefully a lifetime. Emily says, Elliot, if you are curious about what I'm saying, let me know. Of course, I am curious. If you want to get in touch with me, there's Twitter. You can message me on Twitter. You can send me a private message through YouTube. And there's also my various Facebook pages that you can send me messages. So if you'd like to get in touch, please do. I am open to all offers and suggestions. And I think I've just missed quite a few comments again. Karen says, British of a royal, Ringo was 77 yesterday, made appearance in Hollywood, California. And Freya says, well, that was a completely serious comment and I definitely needed to be put in my place. Anthony Swanson says, any thoughts on Prince Charles, Duke of Cornwall's idea of smiling the royal family, of making the royal family smaller, assuming fewer titles given to future relatives and revoking current titles? I don't think they're going to revoke current titles. They'll probably let them die off. I do think they're going to concentrate on a core of the monarchy in terms of royal duties. So let's just say the Queen and Duke of Edinburgh are no longer with us. The core would be Charles and Camilla, William, Catherine and his children, and Harry, Harry's spouse, and Harry's children. So that will be the core, and I think that's probably what they'll concentrate on. However, if there is a need, the need may arise, and possibly Beatrice and Eugenie could get a look in, but we'll have to wait and see. Lisa Young says, I have seen many of your videos, but I'm sometimes confused when other things come up about the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and what is happening with them. And you're kind of scared for the monarchy. Well, my videos always portray the truth and the fact. So if you're listening to, or you've looked at other videos or other media sources saying things about them splitting up or whatever it might be, it's false. Please just take a look at my videos and you will see what they're up to every week if they're on engagements, and you will get the facts. Jamie is finally coming home tomorrow night. And everyone is curious about what Emily's got to say. I'm curious too, please let me know. Sandy says, yay, I made it. Missed it last week, was travelling, and you love the background. Thank you very much. Carrie says, Emily, you are now under huge pressure to make this very, very good. Oh dear says, do Beatrice and Eugenie get an allowance from the Queen? No, they don't. They are funded from Prince Andrew. Yeah, so basically they are funded by Prince Andrew's own private income. Kimberly says, how fair is the scaling back to the Duke of York and the princesses? Personally, I think there will be a need for them in the future. However, I think Charles does have a particular idea about what he wants, but he may find that that's not enough when he comes to it. There may be too much work to spread out amongst a slimmed down core. So he may find that he has to reach out eventually. And if not him, William may have to do that. HW says, Elliot, just so your loyal fans will know, I left a comment on one of your videos and some character left a very sexually inappropriate comment. You were able to delete it or not? If I find it, I mean, sometimes things are flagged up, and if they do, I can delete them if they're personal against you. Emily says, needless to say, I'm not popular at the palace. Emily, you're talking in riddles. Please let me know. Jamie says, isn't Andrew rumoured to be the Queen's favourite child? Possibly because he looks most like her. I mean, who can say who her favourites are, if indeed she does have favourites? I'm not entirely sure she does. MSMB says, Emily's channel is interesting. And Emily Windsor Cragg says, Elliot, I sent you a link to begin investigating. Does Emily have a channel? Do you have a channel, Emily? What is your channel? And Carrie says, HW, please can you elaborate for context? I think we need to know exactly what the comments were. And Nina says, I thought Edward was her favourite. Vanal says, speaking of royal titles, I wish the Wessex's children were referred to as prince and princesses. They are entitled, but I understand it was a decision made by the Queen and Edward and Sophie. Edward and Sophie didn't want to take up Viscount Severn and Lady Louise Windsor's birthrights to be called prince and princesses. Who knows, in the future they themselves may wish to take up their birthright, and that will be a decision for them when the time comes. Emily says, Queen Elizabeth II's uncle Edward VIII was my father, and Edward did not die childless as is reported. My goodness. MSMB says she is a conspiracy theorist. And HW says, yes, Elliot, I was able to go back and delete it, much to my happy surprise. Well, thank you very much. If you are able to delete a comment that was put to you that was inappropriate, please do. Emily says, I have a full sister who also has a channel, Peggy Childers, and she and I look alike, sound alike, but we've never met. Okay, I'm going to now check my list, which I bring every week so that I try not to forget anything. Have we spoken yet about Princess Anne's Chinese visit? It was an official state visit to China, and I think Princess Anne, it looks like it was a 4-day visit, and she had an amazing time. The photographs that were coming back really showed that she is a great ambassador for the UK. And the Chinese seem to absolutely love her. Please check out that series of videos. The Spanish state visit, which is upcoming, had a rehearsal this week outside Buckingham Palace. And if you want to see a behind-the-scenes sneak peek of how they rehearse for a state visit, please do. It showed an empty carriage being pulled, which will eventually have the Queen and the Spanish in. And it also showed the Queen's car empty, being taken for a test drive. So please check out that video. It was quite remarkable to see. In other news, Princess Diana's Audi convertible car, which I made a video on previously, failed to sell. For some strange reason, the owner put in a bid themselves of £58,000, which I believe was to take the car off the market to prevent it from being sold too low. So basically the car remained unsold. Okay, Emily says, yes, the DNA tests are done and we have another sister, Elizabeth. Freya says, when I was in primary school, I used to tell other children that Princess Diana was my real mother. Jamie asking Emily if she can prove it. And Emily saying, the eldest, a son, Pierre Edward, was born in Paris in 1918. He is deceased, and each and all of us were sent out into the world away from the palace. Loretta says, hello, Elliot. I haven't been able to get volume, so I'll watch you on catch up. Hello to Loretta, and I hope you're able to watch me on catch up later. Oh dear says, I thought Princess Anne's visit was one that I thought would have been Prince Andrew's area concerning strengthening trade ties. So I was interested that Anne went. I mean, she has done those kind of visits before, and she does make a great ambassador for the UK. Sarah says, I think Princess Anne is beautiful. A lot of people were commenting on her look, but I think she's always, well, she certainly has her own style. I wouldn't necessarily say it's stylish, but she certainly has her own style. For those of you who want to know, who want to support the channel further, I do have Royal Reviewer Patreon, and you can become a patron on Patreon, patreon.com. There is also an app, and if you want to search for Royal Reviewer, you can see exclusive content, behind the scenes sneak peeks, access to select Facebook groups that only patrons are a member of. If you're at a certain tier, you receive birthday cards and Christmas cards. In fact, I've got some birthday ones soon to go out. That's if you're a $10 or a month subscriber. Basically, it's really fun. I give back, and I'm also going to work on this in the summer on extra special rewards and also merchandise. So please check out Royal Reviewer on Patreon. If you go there, if you don't know what it is, it explains all about it when you're there. HW says, I think Prince Andrew is deliberately being taken out of rotation due to his ongoing legal difficulties. Princess Royal is the smartest, most competent, just like Prince Philip. She's consistently the hardest working royal, Of course, I can't comment on any legal things that are going on, but Princess Anne certainly works hard. She works her socks off. Odia says, I did see Andrew in the background in some shorts at Holyrood. Yes, I think Edward was there at one point too. So that they were definitely there supporting the Queen. Fuzzy Puppet says, is there still a dispute over Gibraltar with Spain? Spain, as part of the Brexit, UK leaving the European Union process, has made noises about Gibraltar, but I certainly don't think anything will come of it. Steve says, this has certainly been an interesting chat tonight. I think it has, for more reasons than one. Freya says, I would like to see a television show about Prince Arthur, Duke of Connaught, and his 3 children. I like to see television programmes on all the royals, whoever they are. They all make for interesting viewing. Emily says, I'm on Patreon too, and I'll sign up for you there. And Freya saying, Patricia and Margaret of Connaught were 2 glamorous ladies. Going back to last week's chat about burials at sea, Jamie found a really good video of the previous Countess Mountbatten of Burma being buried at sea. Now, I'm not sure whether the reports of the previous Countess Mountbatten of Burma, the one that's just died, being buried at sea, it may have been mistaken for her mother being buried at sea. So I'm still looking into whether she was buried at sea in the wicker casket. So I'm still not entirely sure, but Jamie did find a really good video of the actual burial of the coffin going into the water. So it was a very interesting video. Freya says, I'm excited to have Felipe and Letizia in the UK. They're one of my favourite royal couples. And Jamie says, well, considering your channel, I'm not going to carry on reading that one. I really should learn to pre-read the comments before I start reading them. Sarah says, I love learning about British castles. I like castles too. I've been to a few myself, but before I started doing this channel, so unfortunately, don't have too many photos or videos. So I'd like to revisit some. I did have a really good time visiting the castle where Prince Charles was made Prince of Wales, was invested as Prince of Wales, and I stood on the slate circle, which is Carnarvon Castle. I have to think of the name then. Carnarvon Castle. I've been there, and that was fantastic, and I would love to go back and vlog. Gail says, Prince Harry said he thought it was horrible to have to walk behind his mother's coffin. I saw where Prince Philip encouraged the boys to do it. Is he saying his grandfather was cruel? I think he's just saying, for him personally, the circumstance, the situation, being made to walk behind his mother's coffin was too much. William hasn't come out and said that it was too much for him, but Harry being slightly younger, you know, perhaps that wasn't for him. I think the intent was that, you know, perhaps that was one of the final things that the boys could ever do for their mother, and maybe when they're older, they may be thankful for the fact that they did that. But for Harry, it's worked out where he's not been thankful for it, and you know, it was a huge emotional moment in his life that he wished he didn't have had to have performed that role at the funeral. Each to their own, and you know, he's voiced that, he's let it out there, and maybe he feels a bit better for doing that. Freya says, Emily has an Islamophobic video, so that completely ruins any credibility she would have. Fuzzy Puppet says, does the royal family stay at Holyrood House during Holyrood Week? Yes, the Queen stays there. Emily says, I'm not going to carry on reading that one. Okay. what I'm going to do now is to finish the live chat. I'm going to wish everyone a really fantastic week. Please, look out for my videos. I'm sure that there's going to be even more royal news this week. Before I go, I was going to show you in my train video. I bought the book Royal Recipes, and here it is. So I was going to show you a little bit about it. It has, it's actually a very good quality book. It's kind of bound in that kind of paper that's almost a bit fabricy. So it's very good quality. I found it in the gift shop whilst I was on my visit at Severn Valley Railway, and I haven't actually read it yet, so I'm going to do a little bit of reading on it now. It says, Royal Recipes, an introduction. The challenge of compiling recipes from the royal households and courts is one similar to reducing a stock when cooking. In this case, to make them fit cohesively into a compact book. There is also an issue with foods which are no longer in vogue, or those which are impossible to source. Lampreys may have been Henry I's fish dish of choice in the 12th century, but might pose more of a challenge to find now on the fish counter in most supermarkets. So basically, I guess they're saying they've substituted some of the ingredients for modern ones, so you can get a taste of what royal recipes would have been. So I'm going to read some of the dishes. Maybe one day I'll cook one. So there is Balmoral girdle scones, the Duke of Cambridge tart, George V's favourite pancakes, King Edward's golden brie tart, Queen Alexandra's pommes de terre, Queen Anne's pudding, Queen Mary's birthday cake, Queen Victoria's brown Windsor soup, Queen Victoria's shortbread. And I've skipped through loads. There's lots of different recipes. And the book is very good. It comes with a picture and obviously the recipe. I'm hoping you can see that. So for example, I'm looking at Prince Albert's pudding. It's got the ingredients and a method. So I'm looking forward to having a really good look through this and perhaps making some of the recipes. So I'm going to go now. I wish everyone a fantastic week. So all that's left for me to say is, from me in Shropshire, goodbye.